Hello, welcome to the Money Adjustment. I'm your host, Dr. Marc Kramer, DC. I am a chiropractor who loves investing and trading. Are you interested in what's moving markets and your money? Great. Me too. Let's get started. I'm looking at this now. Originally, I did the trade on Monday, and I thought I would post sometime earlier this week, just that day trade. But because it's like a swing trade and now I'm in and out of the position, I've decided to just record every day this week and then put together a consolidated episode that just follows the trade through 1 week. So you can see how my psychology changes over from Monday through Friday, and how the trade itself plays out over a longer period of time, 5 days versus 1 day. I hope there's some value in it. Hello, everyone. This is day 4 of the CRISPR trade, CRSP. It is Thursday, June 12th, 2025. Earlier this week, I took what I would call an impulsive trade. So my investing friend texted me over the weekend to look at RXRX and CRSP. I was not familiar with RXRX, but I was familiar and have traded before CRSP, CRISPR. So I looked at those two charts and I decided to take a trade on CRISPR because I liked the way that the chart was looking and I liked the setup and I could see clearly defined risk and reward. Happy Sunday, June 15th, 2025. Happy Father's Day. I hope this video finds you well. I recorded a live trade this week of CRISPR. I originally was going to do like a day trade episode and it wound up becoming a swing trade episode. So if you are into investing and trading, if you are into CRISPR, then you'll be interested to follow this trade. This is my way of contributing to the trading community. Hello, everyone. It's been a little while since I've done a podcast episode, and I wasn't even planning on doing one today, but it feels like an exciting day in the market, and I haven't day traded in quite some time. For anyone that's followed along, I have a trading account that I keep at about $25,000 as not to risk too much of my net portfolio. And with $25,000, I have $100,000 worth of buying power because I get 4x leverage. This is through Webull. I had fallen below 25,000 for a couple months when we were having the big pullback this year, 2025. And I fell, I think, down to maybe even as low as 21,000, 22,000, somewhere in that area. And my account has since bounced back. I'm currently trading above 25,000. I'm at like 25,500. All that means is that if I'm above 25,000, I can day trade. And if I'm not, then I just let it sit until my account bounces back to over 25,000. I had a few open positions. Those included Amazon, Uber, and iBit, and they are all green. I am positive on all of those. I wasn't planning on trading today, but my best friend, who is my stock buddy, and we talk about stocks all the time, he brought a couple names to my attention, and the charts look kind of interesting, and it feels like it's going to be a positive day in the market. I'm feeling kind of bullish. When I trade, I like to trade long. I do not like to short. I have, but I don't love it. And so a couple of the names my friend brought to my attention, one is RXRX, which is Recursion Pharmaceuticals. I honestly know nothing about this fundamentally. I just looked at the chart, and if you go out to, this is what I should do, right? This is the fun part of all of this stuff, is actually seeing the charts. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen with you guys. So here's RXRX. I'll look at the profile just to get a quick sense. I do not like biotech stocks because the way they look, they don't trade in a way that I like to trade, which is they're very spiky. If you're an active trader, you might enjoy trading these because you can see from this chart, like they'll run and then they crash and then they run and then they crash and then they run. So like there's a whole strategy for when you're trading pharmaceutical stocks. I have never really traded them successfully, so it's not my jam. But like I said, my friend brought this to my attention because this RXRX hit a low recently of $3.79 on April 4th of 2025. And off of that low, actually looks like it retested near that low. It's been trading at that low. And as of today, like literally today, it broke out and is now trading currently at $5.49. As I mentioned before, I do not like trading these types of stocks. I probably won't trade it. If I were going to trade it, there's like some zipper actioning happening here in the close from Friday. And now, if I were to trade the stock, I'll throw some lines in here. I would look for an entry right above where it closed, near where it closed after hours, which is 558. I would set a real tight stop loss on this one. Probably it looks like 519, maybe even 552. And then I'd be looking for if I caught that entry, which I might not, the stock could run from where it's at. It's currently at 585. But if I caught that entry, I probably wouldn't even trade it back till about to where it is now. Even though I think, let's just put some lines in here so we can see what's going on. All right, so 580, 84. Looks like the market's going to open. I spent a lot of time looking at RXRX, but I really wanted to look at is CRISPR, because that's the other one my friend was telling me about. Something's going on with pharmaceuticals. They're having a bit of a day today. So look, already, since I'm at RXRX, you're seeing what's happening. Look, it's already dropping down 565. If it drops down into this zone, I might actually take this trade just because I have a very clear stop loss and the risk reward is pretty decent. Looks like about a 1 to 4 almost, assuming I would catch the entry that I want. Let's see. Let's just pull up the one I actually wanted to trade, which is CRISPR. It's a name I'm more familiar with. I've traded this one before. It's already kind of broken out off of where it was at $43. This one, I mean, I really feel like it could move today. If we go to the hourly, if we go out, so you want to go out to kind of see where the levels, where potential levels are. A lot of bullishness. These little circles here are indicators that Webull gives that will actually show you, it'll identify chart patterns for you and then give you targets for these patterns. So you can see there's a couple targets here already. One is for looks like about that $51, $52 level. And then there's a near-term target, which is close to $45, which I think, we're almost there. So there's like a potential $2 move in here. Honestly, CRISPR looks good, maybe even for a little bit of a long here. I still would look for a better entry. Maybe I don't think it's going to get that back in, but if it does, I'd be looking at like the 42.50 level, and then 42.50 to $45 is a $2.50 price target, $2.50 profit, and then I would set a real tight stop loss on these. Looks like near the close, aftermarket close on Friday, so we're looking at about 41.93. So it's about if we keep it tighter, let's just say $42. So if I got in at 42.50, I would keep a 50-cent stop loss for 250 price taking profit. And that would be a 5 to 1 risk reward. So those are the kinds of things that you're looking for. You want to look for good entries with a good risk reward profile. A good risk reward is at least 2 to 1. Looks like CRISPR's coming in here. So CRISPR, like I said, and the other thing I can do, since it's not moving really quickly, sometimes it moves so quickly you can't do things like this, but I would just set an alert. So I'll create an alert, add a price alert. So if it gets below 40, or let's just say 42.10, because I want to see what's happening in that area, then I might consider taking a position. What's actually moving today, Warner Brothers, look at that one. That moved like crazy. That's like a crazy move right there. I don't like trading stocks that just have those wicked moves like that, even though that's where a lot of the action is right now. But a lot of the money here has already probably been made. I didn't zoom out to see how far this one could actually go. It kind of went to where it is, where it's going to hit resistance, so it's not very exciting. Moderna's making a move. A lot of biotech stocks. Quantum name IonQ is on here. AMD. So again, it's a somewhat of a bullish day in the market for the stocks that I typically watch and trade. Bitcoin's having a nice day today, near all-time highs at 107,773. And what else? A lot of green names. Actually, I moved into recently viewed. So I have 27 stocks currently, or 27 stocks, and including Bitcoin stocks and crypto. But 27 names that I'm looking at. That's more than I usually like to be watching. I think if you're really watching something and in tune with what something's actually doing, stock movement, a chart, getting in sync with its flow, its vibe. I think like maybe 8 to 10 names are good to watch. I remember reading that in Investors Business Daily, and it stuck with me. So I always think to myself, I like to keep my watch list down to that. I never do. Personally, I get my watch list is usually about 20 names. 25 is really high. I'll have to go through at some point and weed this out. But I haven't been day trading or looking at this account much, other than to just see where certain my positions are at since my account was below $25,000 for a couple months. Nothing too exciting here. It looks like CRISPR is kind of bouncing around. I for some reason CRISPR is the one name I think I would trade today if I was going to trade a name. It's already kind of showing its action. It dropped down into the 42, 43 level. It didn't really come into the zone where I'd be interested in taking a position. Still hasn't. Uh, if, like I said, if it goes into that 42, I would consider an entry. We are 5 minutes into the market open. I don't like trading the open because I've lost a lot of money. Open, I've made a lot of money and I've lost a lot of money on market open because it moves really fast. A lot of volatility on the open. A lot of people trade the open. So I set the alert for CRISPR. I haven't even looked at RXRX. It's not really coming up. That's the problem. And when I have 27 names, I can't like scroll through all the names and get to the ones I want quickly. Oh, look, it bounced right into 550. So it did. It bounced into that zone that I thought about taking a position. I did not. I could have. Recovered really quickly from that. Now it's kind of already past where I would have considered taking a position. So that was, I would say, a missed opportunity if I said I was actually going to trade it, but I wasn't going to trade it, and I didn't set an alert for it. The reason you want to know your entries is so you can have clearly defined stop losses and exits. Exit is your profit taking or your stop loss, so your price target or your stop loss. So the idea, I heard this from Anmal Singh of Live Traders, and I really liked it, is to successfully trade, you want to take paper cut losses. That's the key. You're going to lose. But the idea is if you lose small and you win big, your wins are going to outpace your losses. So it makes sense. It's not easy to put in practice always, but that's why I'm very conscious about where I would take an entry. I don't want to chase things. It's looking exciting here. It probably won't go back down because there's a little bit of a bottoming tail here where you see this just long, thin line, meaning that the sellers or the buyers came in right here and they pushed it right back up pretty strong. So that's a bullish, but it's already seeing a move. So it could have been bullish, and that's the move. And then if I got in here, my stop loss would be much lower. So it would change my risk reward. So it's not really worth it. You can't hear it, but I have CNBC going on in the background, and I also have Trader TV Live. So I have two different channels. I like Trader TV Live because that's where day traders are actively day trading. And I like CNBC to hear kind of more of the macro news and broader discussion. And most traders, most active market participants have CNBC on because it's just a broader gauge of the news. Not everyone uses it. And now with X Spaces, there's so many Spaces groups in the morning. that are just great communities. I'm not part of any of them. I'm probably most active in the Bitcoin Today community, only because of my friend Darkside 2030 underscore. But that's the only one I participate actively on Spaces. I was going to do live broadcast today, but I realized that the platform that I use, Riverside, for my podcasting allows for live, but it's an upgrade to do the live. And since I'm not super consistent on the podcasting yet, I want to get more consistent with my podcasting before I start the live. This is not going to be exciting for so many people because right now it's just the market is flooded, especially with financial news and financial information and people who have financial podcasts. It's like one of the most crowded spaces, but it's exciting and it's crowded for a reason. We'll see. Have not taken any trades. Nothing has fallen into where I'm interested. CRISPR, like I said, CRISPR is looking more interesting to me. Uh, yeah, if I could get in anything under 42.50, I would consider taking a position, and we'll see. It might. It's been kind of it's consolidating between about 42.50 and 43.50, showing some consolidation. It's going to have to choose a direction fairly soon. Has not yet. Maybe after the first 15 minutes it will. If I look at a 5 minutes, you can see there's like a big, just same way we had the wick. There's like a wick right here showing a lot of sellers just push this thing down crazy on the open, but it actually closed higher on the 5 minute candle from the open. It closed higher. So this is the body. I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is the body of the candlestick. And this is a wick, this is an upward wick, and then you would get a downward wick, and the wicks just show you if the wick is coming from the bottom, it's buyers coming in. If the wick is coming from the top, it's sellers. I've been watching a lot of different traders, and they have there's different traders that use different platforms. The screens don't always look the same. Even though concept of charting, the concept of candlesticks is a candlestick is a candlestick. There's an open, there's a close, there's a high, there's a low. That doesn't change, but the way it looks from platform to platform can somewhat be visually different. And in my case here, you'll see, assuming that my chart is actually showing, that my candlesticks are yellow and green. And the reason I have yellow is I read somewhere one time that sometimes yellow is less stressful than the red. So some people turn their candlesticks to yellow as to not be as emotionally stressed. I don't know how much it impacts me. I put it on a yellow a long time ago and just never changed it back. So no biggie there. It could get this trading is exciting and boring at the same time, because if you're waiting for a certain thing to come in, like a certain price level to come in, then yeah, you never know if and when that level's going to hit. If you're day trading, you want it to hit early, and that way you have the day to have your trade play at. You can also scalp. It could be a scalp. It would be a scalp if I got in and then hit my price target right away. Usually, if you're scalping, you have shorter targets because scalping happens fast. So you want to trade fast. Day trading spans out a little bit longer. It's still intense, but not as intense as scalping because you're giving yourself a longer time period for your trade to move in your favor. And my preferred way of trading is swing trading, which is holding a position for sometimes weeks to months. And for example, I held Amazon, Uber, and IBIT for a swing trade. I've been in that swing trade now for a little over 2 months. I'm currently positive on it. But I haven't hit my price targets, and I'm not near any stop losses. Um, yeah, I like swing trading. Still watching CRISPR here. CRISPR is again consolidating. It looks like it wants to pull in some. That's the 5 minutes. This is the 30 minutes. This is the hour. This is the day. So the day, we're still in the trading zone for the day. Let's see. This is one of the things I like about Webull is, like I said, it picks out the indicators. So here's one. It picked out and identified a pattern called the bottom triangle or bottom wedge pattern. And so it identifies the pattern for you. So this is, it's hard to move the arrow so you guys can actually see it. But if you look at the bottom of the screen, there's like a triangular orange triangle around the candlesticks. And then you can see this one large green candlestick broke above that. And now it created these little points. Here's another indicator. It was a double bottom. So the orange lines highlight where that double bottom was. So these are two bullish indicators. And then the cool part is not only does it identify the indicator or the pattern, but it shows you the target. So you can see the green that as soon as I take it off the circle, the green's going to disappear. But as soon as you can see that green that pops up, that's where the target zone is. So that higher green, the darker green bar on the top is where you would consider taking profit. And the other space is like you're still in the clear as long as it's trading in that zone. And then you would know to stop or take a stop loss or get out, exit your position if it breaks below the bottom of that green zone. So it's a cool feature that Webull has. I do like that one. I think I want to start trading more on Robinhood Legend, but that is a trading account that I've pretty much let go to zero, unfortunately. So again, trading is very risky, very hard to do. Can be done, but you almost have to make it your job if you are going to trade actively on a regular basis. And you're better off investing, which is just looking for good stocks at a reasonable price and riding them for as long as it makes sense to ride them. So that's how I've made most of my money. So yeah, there's some skill involved managing my longs. I feel confident because the numbers reflect my confidence with regards to holding my positions for longer periods of time. But with my trading, I have yet to demonstrate to myself that I want to, quit my job and start trading full time. So it's more of a hobby at this point. All right. So here we go. CRISPR still in this downward pattern from the open. It's still up from Friday's close. And I'm hoping that there's people like me, buyers like me, that are just waiting for that good entry. And once that good entry hits, then the stock could take off. I notice I have some indicators missing. So let me go to my indicators, which are up here. Indicators. And if I put in the RSI, that'll give me a little bit more information. RSI, if the RSI is between 30 and 70, it's indecisive. But if it's above 70, it means a stock is overbought and more likely to come down in price. And if a stock is below 30, then it means it's oversold and more likely to go up in price. Okay, so here, look, it touched down. CRISPR touched down to the touchdown to the moving average. I have some VWAP bands. I actually have too much stuff on here. They talk about spaghetti charts where you just have too many things going on and it's hard to read your indicators. But broadly speaking, I have like this moving average, the 180 day. You can see CRISPR like tapped into that zone. We're seeing a bottoming tail here, which is a bullish sign. Like it went down to 42.33. So we're definitely in my price zone of where I'd consider taking a position. I might actually, let's do like 100 shares at 42 if I can get 42.30. I think I already lost my opportunity. Look, it whipped right up. So I spent my time talking and not actually paying attention to where I wanted to take the trade. And now I don't like where I have it because it's lower than where the wick is. So I'm going to close that out. Yeah, so it looks like this one's going to work and I just didn't execute it. No biggie. All right, let's see. Could try the 42.50 again. It's not as great. Actually, it's already come in. Let's just do it. Let's do 100 at 42.50. Let's play today. Let's have a little fun. It's not oversold yet. I'm going to close this out. I'd like to still see it. If it retests this area, would be a cool entry. Let's add some more indicators here. So the MACD MACD is still looking like it's trending downwards, no trend change. MACD is good if you're looking for a change in trend. So we have a near-term downtrend happening. This is going down. It's pretty clear it's going down, but it's a downtrend in a broader uptrend. So that's why I'm still looking to go long on it. This would basically be the pullback. And MACD is still trending downwards, so there's nothing exciting with the MACD. You'd want to look for like a crossover here, and then maybe like an oversold crossover. A couple areas of confluence would be more, I feel more confident about the trade. Now let's take a look at volume. So you saw in the open, a lot of people were excited about this. The volume was high. The candlestick went up. It got up to a near-term high, and then it started pulling back in, and you can see the volume started coming in too. So that this is the average volume, is this blue line here. I like to use the average volume because that gives you a sense of, as long as, this is one thing I look at, if it goes above the average volume, and these are no guarantee indicators, are just like guidelines, just like probabilities, higher probabilities, but it's nothing's guaranteed. Again, if it was guaranteed, there would be no game to it. It would just be easy, and it's not easy. So it looks like we're coming back in from that 42.50. So I'm glad I did not take a position there. Honestly, near that $42 level. I think actually was that when I had my alert was in that 42. You go to create alert 42.10. So yeah, it didn't even come into my buy zone. I got excited on the 40.50, and it wasn't even where I wanted to take an entry. So that's why just kind of knowing what you're going to do before the trade actually happens. That's why they say having a plan when you trade is advisable. And actually, I mean, if you're going to do this professionally, then definitely have a plan. But that was the other thing, is I had a plan for near 42 or 42.10, and I was watching and I forgot, like I just recorded this and I forgot that I said 42.10, and I almost took a position at 42.50, which wasn't part of my plan. And doesn't mean it's going to work out for me or it's not going to work out for me. It's just confidence. It has to do with confidence. If I know what my numbers are and I know where I'm going to get out, and whether I get out on the upside or the bottom side, then I don't have to, then I trust myself to do this trading. All right. I'm lucky in that this is not how I make my money, so I can have fun with it. But people who are relying on, like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills unless this goes in my favor, that's a different game. So looks like something hit. RX hit 560. So RX came in. I don't see it on here. Oh, recently viewed. So I go to my 27. RX is down there. Where are you? I saw it and then I lost it. So let's see. Again, the fact that I have to search it on a small list just shows I need to short my list even more. So look, okay, it dropped into the zone that I wanted it, and now it's looking like it's coming back up. This is kind of, there's a little bit of a wick here, bottoming wick, and then fighting right now. It's fighting on this 2-minute level. The reason I use the 2-minute versus the 1-minute, I heard this from a YouTuber and it seemed to be pretty reliable, is a 1-minute, there's more false, it's harder to gauge on a 1-minute because you can see there's a lot of wicking happening. So even just bringing it out 2 minutes cleans it up a little bit in terms of trying to figure out trend. If it holds this $55.60, which it looks like it wants to hold, then it might be worth taking a position. In fact, I could take a position, do like 500 shares of this at 550 if I get it, or 550. No, it's already gone. It's already gone. You can't, you just gotta, and 550 wouldn't work. It would be 560, and then I would stop loss at 550. So I don't like this. It's kind of, it's trading in this zone. Look at it. It's hit this look, it hit this line perfectly and then sold off and has been selling off. And then it neared this line here at the 550. But if I did 560, it would have hit it almost perfectly. And then now it's starting to show the reversal in trend. It's still possible. It could trend reverse. I don't know. It's like I said, I don't like trading these biostock. There is this YouTuber. I'll have to put his name in and a picture of his channel. He is one of probably the best people to follow for the reason of he is live trading on a larger time frame and showing his dollar amounts, like how much he makes every day and loses every day. And he's playing with relatively big numbers. I think he'll have like a loss of like $5,000-6,000, and he'll still like end the month. He said the month of May he was up $200,000. So, and he seems pretty straightforward. He's always recording his trades and live trading, so he's very transparent. I'll put his name up here, partially for me to remember.
For the month of September, I've made a gross profit of $208,000 day trading. It has been my best month in terms of consistency, risk to reward ratios, and even dollar amount. Now, for those who don't know me, my name is Carmine Rosado. I'm 25 years old. I've been trading for 8 years now, which is pretty crazy. Now, within these 8 years, there's been a lot of failures that have been some of my greatest lessons, and there's been a lot of successful and winning trades that have been pivotal to my success. And I want everybody to understand that the market is a constant journey of self-improvement.
So I spent almost 30 minutes recording from the open. So from 9:30 to 10 o'clock, 30 minutes. I had looked at two positions to consider trading. Neither one of them hit my entry that I would like. And so I am not in any positions. I have no active trades, and I'm okay with that. So I say it's good to be patient. So I'm probably going to stop recording. I have my alerts. If CRISPR comes in, I may wind up trading it. And then if I do trade it, I will either turn on the camera again and get back into the trade, or I'll just call it a day and maybe edit this in some way where I can just have a little bit of live trading and then some other stock related, investing related, trading related information. Hey everybody, I am back, and I'm back because CRISPR wound up coming into my price that I wanted it. So if you recall, which wasn't too long ago for me now, it's been a few minutes, but I was looking for an entry below 42.10, and I got an alert at 42.10, and I was fortunate because it dropped even further below that, which allowed me a better entry and also a tighter stop loss. So I got in at 41.75. I am currently down on the position because it's down to 41.58, but you can see getting out. A lot of people got out here at looks like about 10:08. Oh shoot. I don't know if I'm sharing my screen. Hold on. I'm going to exit all of this, cancel. I don't think I was sharing my screen. All right. Let's try this again. All right, guys, I wasn't sharing my screen. I'm going to recap what I just did. I took a small break. I had an alert set. We were talking about CRISPR earlier. I talked about taking a position. I actually wound up taking a position. It dropped below 42.10, and I'm going to share my screen with you now. So it dropped below 42.10. I got an alert. Fortunately for me, I got the alert, and by the time I actually got to the screen to trade it, it dropped even lower, which is better for me because it gives me a little bit more room for my stop loss. But on this one, I am thinking about actually swing trading it and not day trading it. That's the reason I like CRISPR more than RXRX. RX is a smaller market cap. It's more volatile. It's in the biotech sector, which I already don't like. So is CRISPR. But CRISPR is a name I'm familiar with. I've traded it before. I'm more comfortable owning this one for a longer period of time. And it has been trading near its lows. And so I have taken a position in CRISPR at 41.75. I did 500 shares. And what I'm starting to say is one of the features that I like about Webull is that you can set right here your take profit and your stop loss. So if I click on take profit, or the TPSL, take profit, stop loss. So if I go further out, you could look on a longer time frame, and I'll put a line here to make it more clear. On a longer time frame, 34 is really low. I don't know if I'd want to wait till 34. Let's do a horizontal line. I don't know if you can see this on the chart, but there is something happening here where it was a bit of support, and then it broke that support, and then it came up, and that what used to be support here was then resistance until CRISPR just broke above that. So let's set a stop loss. I would say my stop loss would be tight around 40.33. That's really tight, but better to take paper cuts than massive hemorrhaging. Um, and that'll keep you profitable in the longer term. And so now we'll go back to this 2 minute and we'll do a take profit. So we'll stop loss. What did I say? At 41.30. You can even give it a little space to breathe. So stop loss at 41.20. And then I will do, so it's a $275 downside. So the most I can lose on this trade now is $275. We're going to go on the longer time frame. It's a swing trade, so it makes sense to go on a longer time frame. Now we do the take profit. What I say, 42, 40.20 is where I would consider, actually maybe even a little bit below that. So I'm going to do a stop loss at 40. Let's just do 40.50. I want to give it a little room to breathe. 40, 44, 40, 45. It's not an exact science. This is where it's like an art. Okay, let's do 40, 44. And you can see, I mean, I think I'm pretty confident it could get to $48, and that would be a $3,000 profit. But if I really wanted to swing for the fences, the other thing I can do is I could set the higher target, and let's just say the really sweet target would be that 50, like even 49, 44. Then I'm playing it really safe. It's just for simplicity's sake, $1.25 to the downside on 500 shares is a little over $1,000. So it would be a little over $1,000 to make a little, almost $4,000. That's being generous in each direction, kind of not conservatively, but for simplicity's sake, saying $1,000 loss to a take profit of almost $4,000 gain is a 1 to 4 risk reward. We'll see. It'll be kind of fun to watch this one play out. I mean, unfortunately, I could get stopped out today if it breaks through what it did on Friday, which, I mean, these stocks can. So I don't really love trading biotech stocks. I guess if I go back and I look on Friday, this big green candle on the volume where it really went up and kind of touched into its resistance level here at the $42 level. That gives me confidence that there was some strong support at this level. I didn't check to see what the volumes actually trade at. So this stock, I mean, normally it's averaging in the tens of thousands in terms of volume. And then there was a significant amount of volume that came in that last hour of trading in, what was it, at 257,000. Yeah, it's kind of like it's a lower float stock, which I don't love that. Again, it's this whole space I don't love. I'm probably going to regret taking this whole trade tonight, but hopefully it'll be good for some entertainment here. And I won't lose my shirt because the most I can lose is $1,000, but I could potentially gain $3,000. So that's it. I don't know if I'm going to be doing another recording. I was fortunate. I got up early this morning. I got a lot of my work done for my primary job in the morning, and then did yoga, probably go run later and do some more work, and maybe not even think about this. I'll just set my alerts to, if it goes below a certain level, I'll take a look at it. If it goes above a certain level, I'll take a look at it. But I don't want to look at it too much, because if you're going to do a swing trade, you have to have the psychology of, I'm going to hold this for a longer period of time, and then I expect a certain level of volatility over that period of time. And if I keep checking it, I will rethink my plan, and that's where you get into trouble. So I'm going to do an end of the day wrap up from this trade that I took today after not day trading in quite some time. I decided early on that I was not going to day trade. I was going to swing trade this CRISPR, but kind of watching the chart throughout the day. Anytime I take a new position, I tend to be hyper alert. We always have this tendency to want to catch the bottom, even though we rarely ever do. So that's why you want to give yourself some leeway to have a stop loss to give yourself some room for the trade to breathe. But I'll talk you through what I actually did today. So I'll share my screen here. All right, let's take a look at the chart. So like I'm up on the day. All my open positions are green. It's currently I am $300 positive on this CRISPR trade. But I'm not day trading it, so I'm not closing it out. But at the same time, I decided I do not want to lose any money on it. So I basically have a stop loss set for 5 cents below my entry, which was 41.75. I am aware that could easily get wiped out, in which case that is fine because I was kind of checking in with my emotions throughout the day as I was watching this trade play out. Keep in mind, I have about 20 or 30 open positions and they're long holds. I don't watch them aggressively. So when I'm talking about this CRISPR trade, it is a new trade that I took on. It was an impromptu trade. It was an impulsive trade. So I am more hypersensitive after I hold this position for a while. If I hold this position for a while, I might change my attitude about it. But in the meantime, I am keeping a very short stop loss, meaning if this trade goes south on me, I'm only going to be out about $50 on it. But if it plays out to the long end, I don't think it's going to hit my price target. If we go out a little bit further, like I have a price target, the highest price target would be closer to $50. That's about $8 up from where it's at right now. A lower price target would be closer to about $45. So that's about a few bucks from where it's at now. What is likely going to wind up happening is I'm probably just going to get shaken out of the trade because my stop loss is so tight and I just don't want to lose any money on it. It's a large enough position that I just don't want to take any chances with it. And at the same time, I'm just kind of banking on the fact that maybe I got in at a good entry. And if that's the case, then it should just continue to move higher from here. Like I said, given that the time frame that this could play out is, now that I'm looking at this, is pretty much the whole summer. So the odds of me not getting shaken out of this by the end of summer is not very likely. So unless it kind of moves quickly towards the price target that I have, then that's when I would see some nice upside on this. Right now, my downside is going to be like $50, but my upside could be I'll I don't know if I'm gonna have the stomach to say to stay to a full target, but let's say like a few $1,000s. So again, these numbers are going to sound relatively small to a lot of people, but the idea with here is that this is my play money. This is like my trading account. It just keeps me engaged with the market. I have very tight ranges that I trade at in this account. And what it does in terms of my longer term portfolio is because I'm paying attention to the market, I can capitalize on longer term opportunities when I see them. And so, like, for example, Tesla took a big hit a couple days ago because of the Musk Trump feud, and it has since recovered from the lows of that. And so that was like I picked up a few shares at that point. I added to my position. I already own Tesla, but I added to my position because it just felt like a buying opportunity. So it's opportunities like that that I'm looking for by paying attention to the market on a regular basis. I might even take a longer position in CRISPR because I do like where it's at now. But for a trading position, like I said, I'm going to keep it really tight. And in fact, I'm going to look at possibly trading this with options because I have about $20,000 in this trade, but I could probably leverage the same number of shares for a fraction of that. I guess is like under 10,000. I could still have the same number of shares with this very similar upside potential and maybe even mitigate some of my downside risk. And there's different ways to play it. We'll see how it goes. Honestly, by tomorrow morning, I could be completely out of this position, but I haven't done a podcast in a while and I saw this opportunity and decided I wanted to trade it. And I thought it would be a good way to just dust off the cobwebs. Yeah. I hope for someone who is where I'm at trading wise, like you're always going to want to follow people that are maybe, just like they say, like a step ahead of you so that you can, Either you follow the best of the best, which a lot of us do, but if you're just casually playing, or if you find somebody that resonates with you, like I'm a retail trader, so I'm kind of I'm expecting to attract people to me that are professionals doing other things, not necessarily watching the market 24/7 like I am, but maybe they'll get an idea if they watch me and see how I trade. Or like, you can learn strategy. Everybody has a little bit of a different strategy. So I'm using a margin account here. I have $25,000 of my own money inside this account, but my buying power is up to $100,000. So I could take more positions in trades. I have to be mindful of the margin that I use because I don't want to be paying a lot of interest over longer periods of time. So there's things that you want to be aware of. But if you're the kind of person that might be interested in something like that, it's so far the biggest breakout episode that I had was on Bitcoin and bonds, and that was fascinating for me, and I understand why a lot of people like that one, because I that was one I don't feel like there's a lot of podcasts out there yet. So I'd like to be doing more of those. I'll have to call out Darkside because he said he wanted to do one of these like a week, and we can't even schedule to do one a month. So we'll see how that goes. And I am being solicited by a lot of other different people in the financial industry. I am not a financial person. I'm a chiropractor. I do utilization review for work comp cases. That's how I make my money. I'm in the stock market because I came into a large sum of money at one point, and I had to put it somewhere and figure out what to do with it. I anticipated that. I've been preparing, learning about the market, just learning about broader concepts of money in general. I've had financial advisors, lots of financial advisors throughout the years, and I just have never taken to one. I have money that's professionally managed through my 401k, and so I know that there is a certain amount of money that is not being utilized the way I'm utilizing it. But I feel like the advantage that I have versus just a professional is I will, the pros and cons of this is I will take a little bit more risk. And so with the more risk that I take, I've seen greater upside versus what is being professionally managed for me. So pros and cons to everything. I see a lot of different YouTubers. They do a lot of things different ways. I recently watched this one guy. He like puts all his income into a margin account similar to the one that I'm trading here, and then he borrows against it for his living expenses. So like that's its own strategy. Everybody's got a little bit of different strategy. If there's something useful here that I'm doing, and honestly, I really do go back and look at my own recordings and listen to my recordings to see, okay, do I still feel the same way that I did back then? And I'm thinking about bigger concepts financially. So one of the things I've been investigating is multifamily real estate. I do not see myself doing that because it's like I see it as a steep learning curve. I like the stock market. I've been paying attention to the stock market for over a decade now. I have a stronger sense of when things are good buys and when they're not. With the real estate market, I don't trade real estate. I haven't traded real estate, so it's harder for me to gauge when would be a good time to put my money in and wait it out. But I am learning from people who do that. And at some point, I'm probably going to take a portion of what I'm making from my trading and just to diversify my portfolio invested in real estate. So lots of different ways to make money. This is just like a way that I'm doing it. And part of it is, I was thinking about this today. My wife listens to a lot of political podcasts now. She just has gotten into this political loop. And so she's always very excited about these podcasts. And so she starts to how do I put this in a casual way? She gets very passionate about these podcasts and she starts talking to me about it passionately. And I totally get it, except for I don't listen to political podcasts. I listen to trading and investing podcasts. So sometimes when my wife gets particularly passionate, I like to remind her that how it is when I talk to you about the stock market and I get really excited and I say things like, you understand what I'm talking about, and sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. Um, this is what I'm excited about, is the stock market. So me doing the podcast is an opportunity for me to express my excitement and my enthusiasm for it. I know I like the culture. I like the other podcasters and YouTubers that talk about the stock market. I'm engaged in that way. So it makes sense that when I'm creating content, I'm going to create content that is like that. Again, I hope people found value in it. It was an amazing day for a lot of different reasons. I just got up and I just felt like, okay, I'm on today. Like, got a lot of work done in the morning and practiced yoga. I went running in the afternoon. I traded. So I feel good. Um, and I wanted to share that. And I hope you guys feel good when you're listening and watching. We'll see you soon. Hey, everybody. This is day 2 of my CRISPR trade. I honestly, because of how tight my stop loss is, I thought I would be out of this trade before I even got up this morning, but it has not hit the stop loss. So let's take a look at what's happening here. I am currently positive on this trade, about $340, but I'm looking for potentially thousands of dollars on this one. So it's broken out of a certain range. I actually raised my stop loss this morning from 41.75 and I raised it to 41.80 because as I mentioned, I just don't want to lose any money on this. If it goes south, it goes south, but there won't be any loss in money, just a little bit of time, and I will have gained some insight. So it looks like today's high, it could reach the 43.53 level. It's going to get interesting there because what's going to wind up happening for me here as I'm thinking this through is I'm going to wind up raising my stop loss so that I can start locking in profit as this goes higher. But when you hold things for longer periods of time, I have other trades that were very volatile and would have completely had me exit at bottoms. Had I not just didn't have any stop loss, I was just trading for the long term, holding them for a longer swing. And all of those trades are in the green right now. So I lucked out. This one, I'm not confident to hold in that manner. So I am going to, I'm just going to see how it goes. In fact, I'm going to raise the stop loss now. I don't want to lose some of the gains that I've already made. So I'm going to stop loss it at, let's say, 42.30. And we'll see. It's going up. It's going up. It's going up. It's probably going to hit that 43.50, and I bet it comes right back in. And depending on how strongly it comes back in, will determine how I feel about this position. I have other trades going here. So I've currently in my trading account, in my Webull trading account, I have 4 active positions: Uber, Amazon, Ibit, and CRISPR. CRISPR I just took yesterday. It's up 2.5%. That's the one we're talking about. On my Uber, I'm up 43%. Amazon, I'm up 8%, and Ibit, I'm up 4%. And that's after that's after riding a bit of a drawdown. So that's feeling happy about those trades. I don't have any immediate price targets for them. I'm looking to hold those maybe till end of year. Because I think they have a lot of room to run. I think Uber's going to break $100. I think Amazon's going to break 250. I think what else we got? Ibit. I mean, Ibit's locked into Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin hits some of those higher targets that people are throwing out there, like still think 250 is one of the higher ones, but my friend Darkside 2030 underscore told me that he thinks I'm too low with the 250. Otherwise, the consensus is around 125. Bitcoin recently hit an all-time high of just over $110,000. I don't even know where Bitcoin is at right now. All right, it pulled back, so it's currently at 109,000. Let's see if I can get it. All right, so Bitcoin is at 19. It got as high as 112,000. It looks like it's probably going out here. I mean, we're hitting this kind of upper diagonal resistance here. You can see that. This is one of the reasons I like technical analysis. Again, it's not absolutely predictive, but you can see some reactions where there are lines. I mean, these were almost spot on right here. Could run up again to maybe 115 before we get resistance. And then it could pull back down to, if it gets out to here, it could pull back down to, I mean, maybe 97,000 would be the near term low if it pulls back. It's hard to imagine under 100 right now, but sentiment changes quickly, so you never know. Let's see, go back to active trades here. I definitely want to keep an eye on my CRISPR trade because that's more recent, a little bit more volatile. And all right, so it did. It broke that 350. Wow, it's already at it's 43.89 it hit. Wow, that's pretty good. So that's done nice. So my account's up like a couple $1,000 in a day. So that's it's hard not to take profit. That 27,000 could go back to 22,000 if I just hold. So you don't know. You have to know your time frames. I don't know if I'm going to realize any profit here yet because, like I said, I'm holding out for higher price targets. All right, see, like CRISPR's already starting to come back in, but not much. And I like that it was strong out of the open. This is like a zone of resistance here that it broke through. So it's trading in this higher zone. If it could hold this today, I would feel stronger about the position. Like I said, I have my stop loss just beneath this area right here. I mean, really, I should probably stop loss lower. I feel more confident that it broke out so nicely as it did, so I might bring my stop loss in uh, lower as to not get stopped out of the position too early. So I'll just do it at like 41.97. Um, so if it gets below $42, then I'll be out, but we'll still have made a little bit of money. So as I'm talking to you, I'm also listening to CNBC, Squawk on the Street, and Live Trader TV, which is a prop desk out of Canada. And so it's just that's how the market is. It's like kind of an exciting hour between 9 and 10. And then what I usually do is at 10 o'clock, I just shut it off. So really from market open, 9:30 to 10 o'clock, I'm paying the most attention. And then I set alerts if stocks or my positions are trading near where I'm looking to exit or enter or add. Um, and then that's about it. So maybe if you decide you want to commit 30 minutes to an hour a day looking at the market, um, that's what you can do. And you can, people get excited about numbers. And I'm watching people, they talk about trades in the hundreds of thousands. I'm still more trading in the tens of thousands range or thousands to tens of thousands range. But if you're just starting out, you're going to be trading in the hundreds and or even tens is fine. It's because it's just all some multiple of something at some point. Maybe when my kids aren't in college and I'm not don't have a lot of other things on my mind, I'll be trading in the hundreds of thousands. That's I have that vision for myself. It's still early. Relatively early. If you're young, I mean, I know like teenagers now are trading in the hundreds of thousands, so it's weird. But friends my age, Gen Xers, either are not paying attention to the market, or my friends that do pay attention to the market are still trading in like the 5 to 10,000 range. They're not necessarily trading with big numbers. It's like a generational thing. Um, that's what I think. If you have a different opinion or want to talk to me about it or call me out on it, I don't know where you can comment because if you're listening to a podcast, there's not really a place to comment. But if you're watching on YouTube, then yeah, comment below. Let me know what's going on. If you're watching me, I'd be curious could I do for you to provide you with more value with your trading? Because I'm relatively a casual trader. I'm putting myself out there as to not be too aggressive. But the problem is the financial space is a highly competitive space. So to not be aggressive, it's like, all right, I'm not going to get a lot of viewers. I'm not going to get a lot of followers, but I could get people that are not necessarily looking to go from 0 to a million overnight, but who are looking to have more of a long-term strategy, are seeing if things that I say resonate with your own psychology. I'm basically rattling off things that I heard from people that I listen to. So, and they're the people trading in the hundreds of thousands. So it's not like it's new information, or some information is not applicable to people trading at higher or lower levels. So don't get caught up in the numbers. Think about percentages. Think about the strategy. So this trade is currently doing pretty well. I like that it pulled back. I'm recording these. I might not even be posting these. I might be the only person watching these when I'm done finishing it. If you're watching it now, it means I did post it. And I'm hoping that when I post, my challenge is now in the editing end. It's easy enough to record. I just hit record and talk to you and we're good to go. But it's the editing, the post process to clean it up a little bit. I could submit it more raw, which is a lot of times what I do just to get them out because of time constraints. A lot of people will tell you to just watch volume and price action. One distinction that I recently solidified in my own mind is there's a difference in volume based on time, which is what most people watch, is volume based on time. That's this lower bars down here. That's how much volume's coming in as time progresses. But another thing to watch is volume based on price. The platform that I'm using to do these videos right now is Webull. There's lots of platforms out there. Robinhood's a big one. Coinbase has their own. If you're trading cryptocurrencies, Schwab, all the traditional institutions. My experience with traditional institution platforms is they're not intuitive. They're just like, it's a time where I don't even like using them. They're very clumsy for trading. I actually took one of my portfolios out of Schwab and just transferred it all into Robinhood, just because I like the interface on Robinhood, and I'm actually very bullish on Robinhood moving forward. Robinhood, if it doesn't like grow into a traditional institution, will be bought up by one, because it's capturing the younger market and even people like me, Gen Xers. It looks like this chart action looks really good here on CRISPR. I might have gotten in at a good entry point. I'll just keep following this one. You're either going to see a video or hear something from me where I've exited this position, I got stopped out of it, or maybe I can ride it to the full price target. That would be amazing. We'll see. The market is not as volatile as it was in the beginning of the year. That was really tough. You really had to have some endurance in terms of how much volatility you could tolerate in the beginning of the year, from February, March, April, May, with regards to tariffs and all of the headline news that you hear, the tweets, Trump's tweets, his Truth Social. These are the kinds of things that are moving markets, which is, it disregards fundamental analysis, disregards technical analysis, but it's one of those, you play the hand you're dealt. So if the market is trading in a range or volatile, then that's the market that you're in. And so you have to adjust your trading style accordingly. For me personally, because I don't actively trade, meaning I don't trade every day, I just don't trade. If it's going to be really volatile, I just grit my teeth and bear it. Which is what I did, and that paid off this time. All right, everybody. I think in my mind right now, I have about a 3-year time frame on this. So I'm thinking for the next few years, I'm not ready to give up anything that I'm currently doing. I have a young child. I have one in diapers and one in college. I like saying that for as long as I can, and my young one is still in diapers now, and my oldest is still in college. So within the next couple of years, I won't be able to say that anymore. But when I'm in this diaper college period, then I can just put out what I can put out. What I do is, when I have a few minutes here and there, is I hit record and I just try to show you what I'm actually doing, so it's happening in real time. When I have other time and space that opens up, then this channel will evolve, my trading will evolve, my investing will evolve. I hope that I'm looking back on these and thinking to myself, wow, I can't believe that I used to trade in the tens of thousands. I used to trade in the hundreds and I would break a sweat, and I've moved up to the tens of thousands. So at some day I hope to move up to the hundreds of thousands. And yeah. And so I'm not looking towards a retirement, oddly enough. I'm not like waiting to just live off my dividends or anything like that. If I wanted to do that, I could do that right now. I should just cash out everything that I'm doing, put it into something that just pays me regular dividends, and then go do something else. But I'm 50, so I feel like I still get a lot of years in me. I know people are already retired at 34, but then they get bored, and I don't know what they're doing. So successful people I follow and watch, they're 80, 90. Look at Warren Buffett. He didn't retire until this year, and he's 94. So you just find things that you want to do. Right now, one of the things that I like to do is trading, and I love investing because that's how you make money. But trading is a fun way to stay in the market, and it helps with the investing. And sometimes you make money and sometimes you don't. But when you make money, it's super fun. It's like playing sports. Ideally you're not going to win every game, but if you win more games than you lose, then your net will be favorable. Let it be fun. What can I say? All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I will see you on the next one. Hello, everyone. This is day 3 of my CRISPR trade, CRSP. I'm going to pull up the chart so I could talk through what's happening here. Okay. So I actually got stopped out of this trade yesterday. I wound up upping my stop limit because I was at one point in the day up about over $1,000. I think I was up about $1,200. And then the trade started coming back in, and the idea of not locking in any profit from getting up to that high, I just didn't feel right about it. And I didn't like how the action started to change. So I wound up taking profit about $1 or $2 above my entry. I took screenshots since I didn't record it, but I took screenshots of where I got in and when I got out. So I wound up being profitable on the trade, about $500. And I was thinking about getting back into it today. And as I'm talking to you, I probably should have dropped back down to 42.11. I got out at 42.95. So, and that was locking in some profit. Who knows with these hunches at the moment? I felt like it was going to be a weak day because we had a couple strong days, and it just felt like it wasn't going to get so bullish so fast. At this point in time, 9:35 a.m. Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, it is coming back in. CRISPR is down to 42.35. It's still above where I took my initial entry. I'm going to be editing all of these clips from day 1, day 2, day 3, since I didn't post the podcast as a single episode. The editing will probably take me a little bit longer, but it is what it is. I said initially that I don't like trading biotech stocks, and this is one of the reasons. They're very spiky. They'll go up a lot, and then they'll come in a lot, and then they'll be flat for a long period of time until like there's a new drug issued or a new study comes out. I don't like trading those kind of stocks. I'm sure people just all they trade is biotech stocks because they're in sync with whatever the psychology is and the strategy is for trading those type of stocks. I'm just not interested in that. And it also goes back to just be an investor. Day trading, you're gonna get day trading is fluctuations like this, and even swing trading, you can see big drawdowns and big moves up. But in my long portfolio, I just picked stocks that I like for the long term. Sometimes I'll trade around them, but I keep core positions. So I'll keep a certain number of shares, and those are all doing great. And I'm seeing nice returns on that. So trading is just like a fun thing. So many people do it. There's a community built around it, and I like it. I enjoy trading. So not financial advice. It never is. Don't take financial advice from your chiropractor. So I know I should be talking to you guys about health stuff, but that's why it's called the money adjustment. I kind of adjusted from chiropractic to money, just thinking about investing and trading. CRISPR in the near term, I do think it's going to hit those higher price targets. I just didn't want to be riding the stock out while I could tell from the couple of days that I was holding it that I just didn't have the stomach to ride this particular stock's volatility. Again, I mean, it's kind of juicy at this level. I might have, I don't know if I would have taken, I would have taken an entry under $42, and it's currently at 42.11 was the low, and it's already back up to 42.78. If it comes back in under 42, I might consider re-entering the position. And I might actually do it in my long portfolio because my trading account is finally healthy. I had been on a drawdown for a couple months because of the overall market wasn't good. Now I'm back where I could be actively trading again. And so I want to be more conscious about the trades that I take and more thoughtful about them. CRISPR was an impulse trade. This whole recording is basically, this whole podcast episode is going to be an impulse episode. But I'm hoping that there's tidbits in here. And ideally, when I go through and do the editing, note to self, I am going to try to fill in where I think there could be a greater opportunity to go into depth and something a little bit more educational for people who may not be stock as interested in tech. No, for people who may or may not be interested in technical analysis, but maybe have some interest, but when I start throwing out the terms like RSI or MACD or just indicators or levels, sometimes people, I guess you would zone out. And like my current chart right now is a spaghetti bar chart. So yeah, I might have to edit all of that stuff out. I never know what I'm going to edit out and what I'm going to keep in. Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to update people. I am out of the CRISPR trade after 3 days. It's only Wednesday. I may get back in it before Friday. And I think I'm going to wind up posting this episode on Friday. So I'm just going to follow myself for a week of just checking in on the stocks and kind of what I'm thinking and this particular trade. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I don't think this is going to be the goodbye. I'm probably just going to wind up editing a lot of this out because I'll have to see what makes sense when I'm going back and editing. I'm not sure where this is going to fall in the editing process. You probably already know that I took the trade. So we're just going to jump right into the chart. I'll tell you what happened and we'll recap a little bit. But I'm going to share my screen with you. Now you're going to see I'm in the position again. Yesterday, I was out of the position. I was stopped out of the position because I had a profit and I didn't want to lose the profit that I had. Because it fell below my stop loss, I was stopped out of the position. But I still like the setup on the chart. And I just think it got a little hot too fast. So I decided that if it got back to a certain level that I would take a new position. So I took that new position. I actually took two positions. I took one in my long-term portfolio because I do think this trade will play out over an extended period of time. So I wanted to give it a little bit more room to breathe, which I can do in my longer-term investing accounts. But on my trading account, I have to be a little bit more conscious about how long I'm going to hold something. I have tighter stop losses, I should say. So I can let CRISPR ride and not really worry about a stop loss too much. I have a smaller position sizing too in my longer term portfolio. But in my trading portfolio, I've already profited on the stock this week, and this is my second trade on it. And I got back in at a lower cost basis than I did on my initial trade. I think my initial trade was at like $40.70, and then I got out around $42.95 for just a little over $500. And now my current trade is I'm back in at 40.50. Right now it is up. I'm about $390 in profit. I have a stop loss, a very tight stop loss again. I'm only willing to lose like $100 on this. So I have a stop loss at 40.12. And I have a target for today of 41.95 because if it gets really hot and moves up quick, then I'm just going to do what I did the other day and just take my profit. But if it doesn't hit this price target, I'll probably still keep the same stop loss, although I'm less confident about holding it through the weekend. We still have one more day in the week. This could all change tomorrow. I'm looking at this now. Originally, I did the trade on Monday, and I thought I would post sometime earlier this week just that day trade. But because it's like a swing trade and now I'm in and out of the position, I've decided to just record every day this week and then put together a consolidated episode that just follows the trade through 1 week. So you can see how my psychology changes over from Monday through Friday, and how the trade itself plays out over a longer period of time, 5 days versus 1 day. I hope there's some value in it. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. This is what I started recording. I hadn't done the trading one in a while, and it's not easy to edit. I shouldn't say it's not that it's not easy. I can do everything that I do and I enjoy doing all of it. The problem is I'm taking away from other things that I could be doing when I film and record and edit. And I imagine this is a common problem that a lot of content creators have, given that content creation is not my primary gig, and it's something more of a hobby at this point. I have to seriously consider the energy that I put into it. I still want to create content that I think will be of value to a broader audience. I enjoy watching trading videos and have invested quite a bit of time in courses and videos. This is my way of giving back to that community. So if you're into trading or investing or the stock market and you're interested in a perspective of someone who's not necessarily trying to heavy pitch you something, I don't have something to sell you on the back end of this yet. So in the meantime, you can just enjoy a very relaxed approach to the market, but still see opportunities. So this one, because I'm trading CRISPR, will probably have a title like CRISPR trade, fundamental analysis, technical analysis. And then so people that are specifically interested in trading CRISPR or want to know more about this particular stock will probably be the people interested in this episode. So it's not like each episode is just going to attract a broad audience. My most popular episode so far was on Bitcoin and bonds, and the gentleman that I had on, Darkside2030 underscore, basically brought his own audience, and they were very engaged and they brought a lot of energy to that video. I have yet to kind of recreate that level of excitement for the general videos that I'm putting out here. And, but I'm continuing to work at it. And I actually review these for myself. This is going to be like a backlog library for me. And maybe in the future, I have 3 children and who knows, grandchildren down the road, hopefully a while down the road. I'm not that old yet, but I'll have some kind of documentation of what my thinking was when it came to the stock market and aspects of money. So with regards to these trades, I always stress this is like my fun money. This is my mad money. This is like money that just keeps me engaged in the market without putting too much risk online. So for whatever that's worth to somebody. Okay. So you get a sense right now, again, just in that short time that I was talking to you, up about 40 or $50. But these smaller increments of price fluctuation are not really relevant. So what's relevant here is you can see I set my stop loss at 40.12. And that's because you can see at the open, the stock dipped down. It dipped down to 39.80. I was hoping I might even get a better entry down here, but there's this wick. I don't know if you can see it, but there's this bottoming wick here, which showed me there was a lot of buyers that came in at that level and pushed the stock up, and the stock closed this high on a 2-minute candlestick chart. So that gave me confidence that there was some interest in the stock today. I like the longer term look on this, and I think I discussed that on Monday and Tuesday. So you'll have that perspective in the video. And then for today, again, I'm back in the position. I set my stop loss at 40.12 because you could see it was consolidated. It was just kind of rounding out around this yellow line here is the anchored. It's not the anchored VWAP. It's just the volume weighted average price. I'd love to do an episode on anchored VWAP or anchored volume weighted average price. Brian Shannon, has popularized that indicator. Robinhood Legend now has it as one of its primary indicators. So I'm not trading on Legend, I'm trading on Webull, and Webull still doesn't have it as far as I know, and it's been years, and Webull just became a publicly traded company. So I hope they get their act together and get anchored VWAP on here, because I can't imagine there has to be a high demand among traders for that particular indicator. But digression, right? So this is just the traditional volume weighted average price, which just looks at the day before. And there's a whole bunch of logistics as to why this is a very popular indicator. This is an indicator that is used by institutions. Back to my point, what I saw in the candlesticks is that the stock price was consolidating around this volume weighted average price. And if you don't know what that is, or it doesn't mean anything to you, just it's an important indicator. And the fact that the price was really staying in this level made me feel confident that this trade was going to at least hold for today, which is why I have my stop loss and price target for today. I set a stop loss just below this kind of double, almost like a double bottom, but you can see it's just below this level, because I think if the price starts to come back in below here, then there's a good chance it could just drop a lot. And that's where you have to exercise some risk management. But for now, you can see we're actually testing the upper range here. This is like the first area of resistance. This is why I love technical analysis. I drew this line in earlier. I did not just put this line in here, and I put it out because of this area here from yesterday. So I saw, okay, this was an area of support yesterday. That area broke, and we were trading under that area for a while. So I knew that the next time that the stock would have some kind of resistance, what was once support, this is like technical analysis 101, what was once support, once it's broken, becomes resistance. So that's exactly what we're seeing here, almost to perfection, where the stock price hit 41.43. My number was 41.44. And sure enough, as soon as that hit the price, sellers came in, and now the stock is trading down. The price is trading lower. There's another price level that I have, which is the $42, which I have my price target set just beneath that level. So if the stock decides to run today for some reason, if there's some kind of economic news or something that maybe moves the whole market, then this would be my price target where I would feel good about taking some profit. But I expect the stock to probably just consolidate throughout this level. Then I'll have Friday, which I do not like holding. The way I'm trading this, I was kind of lucky that I took profit on the first time trading this, and I'm less comfortable as the trade goes on that to hold it overnight. I just don't want to take any losses. It's my account finally got above 25,000 where I can start actively trading again. Just so my risk tolerance is just very low in this particular account. Yeah. So that's the update for Thursday, June 12th, 2025. Good morning. Good morning, Friday, June 13th, 2025. Today is going to be the 5th day of my CRISPR trade. I've been recording it for Prosperity and for this episode that you are listening to right now or watching. It's early in the morning. It's pre-market. It's not quite 6 a.m. yet. And I figure I'd get this recording in while everything's quiet. Last night, Israel attacked Iran. And so now there's global headline risk. Not to mention, this is the crazy thing about just paying attention to the stock market, is that there's real world implications that are devastating to think of. I think nobody wants war. We know war is an inevitable part of humanity, but nobody wants it. And so when we have these catastrophic headlines, there's so much pain and suffering that underlies this. But when you're paying attention to the stock market is a perspective, it's a frame. And so things get framed of what impact that they will have on the market. So if you're watching the market, it's not that you're insensitive to the atrocities that are happening in the world, but your focus, it's like a job, it's like a mandate. Like your focus is, how is this going to impact the market and my positions and my portfolio? So that's a caveat. It's maybe I went into it more than it needed to get into it, because people will just gloss over that aspect of it. But yesterday there was the headline news at night, and happened to be checking my portfolio, because that's another thing too. When you're into the stock market, you're checking your phone all the time. So let me share my screen, because we're here to talk about the CRISPR trade. All right, so I opened up the Robinhood app and I started putting in my anchored VWAP, because I've talked about it the last couple of days, and I wanted to see where we're at with regards to this indicator, anchored VWAP, which I find to be a valuable, at least in theory, it sounds like a very valuable indicator. I can't say that I've traded off it, just because it's only been recently available on Robinhood. I tried to get it on some of the other platforms, and there's a little bit of work involved in terms of actually getting that indicator on. It's not like a standard indicator. So if I anchor to the all-time high for CRISPR, which was back in January 1st, 2021, we can see here under this blue line, sellers have been in control. Like the stock price has not moved above this blue line, which just means there's just this constant selling pressure on CRISPR. And even here, there's been selling pressure. Another thing I added to this chart is the anchored volume weighted price. So we're talking about, this one is anchor weighted by volume, people, the number of volume by time, and this is the volume, anchored weighted volume by price. And what this price volume is showing us is that the most people are in at about that $56 level. So there's going to be, so a lot of people, and in fact, like the strongest is from 36 to 76. So most people who are in CRISPR right now are underwater, which means there's so much resistance for the stock to go back up, because all of these people that are sitting on a loss, you're gonna have to break through all of that psychological, like people who are finally starting to turn green, finally seeing their position go green. They're going to want to sell, because they're going to feel whole, and they're going to want to get out, because they've been riding out this long period of sitting on a loss. So that's why this is relevant. There's like another small, much smaller group of people sitting here at this $115. I can't imagine sitting on this kind of a drawdown. You must just really believe in the stock, or you're an insider and this is like people who are in the company that they just own the stock at this level and there's nothing to do about it. I don't know, but that's my guess. So I'm just looking at all these different variables that are affecting CRISPR, and the only reason I'm paying attention to it is, like I said, on Monday, actually it was over the weekend, my friend sent me a text and he's like, what do you think about these two stocks? And CRISPR was the one I was more familiar with, so it's the one I was paying attention to and the one I actually started trading. So now, with regards to the current position, I am at I sold some. I bought some, I sold some, so at a profit, because I wanted to make sure that I had made some money on this. And then I went and started a new position yesterday, Thursday, and that position is currently underwater about $725. And that's mostly, I think, because of the headline news, because most stocks started to go down last night on the news. Generally speaking, those are good buying opportunities. Again, it's not looking at the humanity aspect of it, but it's just taking into consideration people tend to overreact to news, and that's what happened last night. And so if you can kind of set that news aside and then just look at, okay, what's the stock actually doing? Like, what's actually happening to my position? CRISPR has come back into a zone that let me span out here a little bit. So this was the pattern that CRISPR has recently broken out from. There was one price target of $45, which was hit precisely and before it started coming back in. That's why I think overall CRISPR, for me personally, just feels like still a very weak stock. I think there's a lot of hype around the stock, and maybe in the future it'll show some kind of greater potential. But another thing I look at is the comments. So, like, people, I like to see, I don't care really what the comments are because you're going to see good comments and bad comments. Not bad, but people who are bearish and people who are bullish. So, you're going to see both sides of the spectrum. But what the comments section, when I look at the comments section in Webull, what I'm looking for is actually are people making comments, like what's the engagement on the stock. So in this case, there's a few people a couple people commented yesterday. There was a few comments a couple days ago, 3 days ago. There's like a couple comments a day, which is showing me there's not a lot of engagement in the stock. Versus like I don't know, I'll pull up Apple because Apple had their WWC this week, their Worldwide Developers Conference, and you can see Apple, okay, like 5 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 3 hours ago. There's a lot more. This is a higher volume stock, more liquidity, and a lot more action, as you can see, because of the comments. And I'm just showing Apple just as a comparison. So when we go back to CRISPR, you can see, again, not very many comments, which shows me there's just not a lot of maybe retail interest in this stock. Of course, when you're down, you regret taking a position. I'm like, oh man, I was up for the week. Why did I bother taking this position again? But I'm in it, and I did think that the $39 level was a good level. This is the hourly chart. It's touching down on the 180-day moving average. We go to the daily, it's below the 180-day moving average. It's just very much in a something needs to happen with CRISPR in a big way. I think the next move on CRISPR is probably going to be pretty big. I mean, there's periods of consolidation here, so it could chop around. There's no for certain of knowing, but there are definitely levels that you're going to want to be careful of. And that 39.50 level where we're at now is a very critical level. So I'm going to have to make a hard decision today of whether I want to keep this position and just ride out what's going to happen, which is kind of already like I've already lost more than I've made in 1 week on this position. So I keep reminding myself, you want to take paper cuts and not massive losses. Because what I would have done in the past is I would have seen this number and been like, there's no way I can lose that much money. And then I would watch $725 turn into like $10,000. So that I definitely don't want to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the stock today, see how it behaves. I do feel like it's trading at a lower range. There has been excitement this week, but man, how quickly the excitement fades. It like pumped on Monday, it pumped on Tuesday, and then it's been selling off Wednesday, Thursday, and now we're at Friday, and we're at this critical level where it had broken out from, which is that about that $39 level. Even if you get stopped out of a position, I try to remind myself this, even if I get stopped out of a position, you can always get back in. So when you're stopped out, doesn't mean you're just done trading that stock. It just means, okay, I can maybe get in at a lower level. It's better off me getting out now at a $700 loss. And then if the stock drops another $700 and it gets to $1,400 and I buy it at that lower $700 level, that's almost balancing out, assuming it doesn't drop even further. So these are the variables that you're considering when you're trading a stock. And if you're swing trading, you have to give yourself a wider range of volatility, like a wider range of price fluctuation. You don't have to. Investors Business Daily, from what I remember, would advise you take profit at 25% and you cut your losses at 7%. And if the market's really choppy or bad or, different markets, you might even want to change those ranges, like bring them in, like take a loss at 5% and take profit at 20%. So you have to know for yourself, like what your discipline is. where you're going to take profit and where you're going to exit, where you're going to take your loss. So it's like a sport. You don't watch baseball games or football games and then want the outcome to not be decided and then go into the next day and it's like, who won? Well, they had more points at the end of the night, but the game's not over, so we'll see. I mean, a little bit of that happens. Oh my God, I'm all over the place. I'm going to edit all of this out. Yeah, maybe it's too early to be looking at this. I am going to be watching CRISPR today, and I may or may not be out of this position by the end of today. And I'm gonna have to see if this even gets posted. I put on my Instagram that I have a new episode coming out on Sunday, and this is what I've been working on. So if there is a new episode, it's going to be the CRISPR episode. I still think I can salvage something from here. It's one of those things. I can't, whether you win or lose, set it up where you win. So whether my position is profitable or not profitable, the win is the discipline of it. Like, this is what I said I was going to do. This is what I did. And this is why. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to put your money on the line to get this learning experience. So I'll film maybe a little bit more today. I have to see if my schedule permits. I have a doctor's appointment and then a fairly packed day. I wasn't sure if I was going to record. I've been watching. It's 9:36. The market opened at 9:30. I'm just going to share my chart with you because some live action is happening right now. Live for when I'm recording, not necessarily live for when you're watching. All right, so this is the CRISPR trade. I recorded earlier this morning before I went to a doctor's appointment. I recorded how we were down here. I was negative, I don't know, 300-400 on my position. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it going into the open. And now on the open, nobody really knew what was going to happen on the open. It could have gone up or down, but whatever the move was going to be an intense one. So if you chose the upside, depending on, I guess, what you're trading, because still a lot of stocks are down, but right now I am positive on the trade. I'm in at 40.50. The CRISPR's at 41.05. It's showing that I'm down $100 because I'm down from yesterday, but I was up yesterday like $500. So I'm probably net up around $400 right now. But that could change on a dime. And since I'm going to have to, I think because I was so anxious about my trade this morning, I'm going to set a stop loss here actually, I'm going to stop loss at higher because, well, I'll stop loss it here first. And then I think this target is reasonable for today, like a 460 target. I added to my long portfolio, so I'll be in the CRISPR trade for a little while. But for this trading account, I don't think I want to hold it too long. So I'm going to set a profit target and a stop loss. And I don't even want to go negative on this position. So I'm going to set my stop loss just beneath the 9-day moving average here, just about where it took off. I could do my stop loss about 10 cents higher because I think it cost me 10 cents per share to actually do the trade. So that would be a break even. So based on my psychology in the moment on Friday, June 13th, 2025, we'll see if I'm going to be stopped out of this trade or if I'm going to be able to take some profit up from it. So in conclusion, I traded CRISPR twice this week. On the first trade, I bought $20,875.02 worth of CRISPR, which I sold the next day for $21,469.91 for a profit of $594.89. On the second trade, I bought $20,250.02 worth of CRISPR on June 12th, which I sold the following day for $20,574.90 for a profit of $324.88. My total profit for this week from this one trade was $919.77. I recorded about 2 hours of content and spent Father's Day editing for about 5 hours. For 7 hours of my time, I earned approximately $131.40 per hour. If I hadn't recorded and shared it, it would have been pure profit. So this is as much for entertainment purposes as it is for anything else. I just enjoy trading. I haven't posted a podcast episode in a while, and I thought this would be a fun one to do. I hope that you found some value in it, and I'd like to be doing more of these. I'm thinking right now at the current pace that I'm on, it's probably going to be an episode a month, and there will be interview episodes. Interview episodes are by invitation only. Everyone that I've interviewed thus far is someone that I've known and wanted to pick their brain more in terms of gaining information of things that I'm interested in. I get about 15 people reaching out to me per week to do an interview. I'm selective. I would like to interview everybody. Honestly, I'm a very curious person, but I'm selective in the sense that I only have so much time to do these. I'm going to be reaching out to people that I want to interview. I hope your Father's Day was amazing, and I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you soon. Bye. Thank you for watching this episode of The Money Adjustment. If you want more, like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on X at Marc Kramer. Until the next episode, stay healthy and wealthy.